Former Health Secretary Matt Hancock is plotting now how to salvage his political career, we read in the newspapers, after he was caught breaking social distancing rules with his aide Gina Coladangelo. The Health Minister, Lord Bethell, is being investigated by the Commissioner for Standards regarding his sponsorship of a parliamentary pass for Ms Coladangelo. And Mr Hancock's successor, Sajid Javid, is already joking about the whole thing.
Thank you. And I hope my camera is on. Is my camera on?
It is.
I mean the one on the laptop, not the one in the ceiling. All right. There you go.
It's what you say in politics, an ouch moment. On the equally serious side, on the 27th of June, GBNews submitted a Freedom of Information request to the Department of Health and Social Care, asking the following 5 questions. Which members of staff have access to the CCTV coverage filmed in the department, and how is it logged? Who approves security cameras in secure premises? What has the department done following the pictures of the former Secretary of State coming out to ensure that the security breach is not repeated? Will there be an inquiry into the security breach, and will it be made public? Are ministers of all levels aware of security measures in the departments that they run? We have not had a full response yet, but the Conservative Member of Parliament for Lichfield, Michael Fabricant, has submitted a question along similar lines, and he has had better luck. Michael, good of you to join us again. We talked about it briefly beforehand. What have you found out?
Well, I asked them about who installed the cameras. Were the cameras actually known to Matt Hancock? And the answer, I'll read it to you actually, it's not a long answer. It says the closed-circuit television camera was installed by the department as part of the office prior to moving into the building in 2017. The camera was authorised as part of an approval for the installation of cameras by the department's internal governance, whatever that means, and the previous Secretary of State for Health and Social Care, in other words, Matt Hancock, was not made aware of the camera. So the bottom line is, in 2017, the camera was fitted. When Matt Hancock became the Secretary of State for Health, it was in 9th of July 2018, some 7 months later, he wasn't informed that the camera was there, though I've since seen the camera, and it is quite a visible thing if you know what you're looking for. And the reason why I say that was there was some speculation by the press that the camera was actually hidden, a sort of spy camera, in a smoke alarm. It turns out that wasn't the case.
A serious question. Do you think, as I do, that it is not unreasonable for Matt Hancock not to have reccied the room or whatever, or perhaps he should have thought, yes, of course there's going to be security. Nothing to do with what he did in the office and it was captured on camera, but it just seemed to me to be remarkably naive to think that there might not have been active cameras in the office of a Secretary of State.
Well, I'm not sure about the latter, you know. I mean, it's quite interesting that lots of my friends who are government ministers are now finding out from their civil servants whether or not, you know, there are cameras in their offices. It's something which they find quite worrying. I mean, also, Alistair, you and I, you know, you work in broadcasting. I used to work in broadcasting. I sort of know what a camera looks like, albeit this one was in a sort of dome on the ceiling. But not everybody is so aware of it. And, you know, do you assume there are cameras? People who work in offices, do you assume that necessarily your private office in a company might have a camera in it? And there are so many ways in which surveillance operates nowadays. Sometimes we're aware of it and ignore it. Other times we're just completely unaware of it.
If his successor, Sajid Javid, can take the mickey out of him, putting it politely, at an NHS conference about, I hope my camera works on my laptop, not necessarily in the roof, and if Matt Hancock is seriously talking to colleagues, you may be one of them, I don't know, on how he gets back into office, that's a busted flush, a lost cause, is it not, Michael?
I don't know about Matt Hancock's future, and neither does he. But I feel desperately sorry for him. I thought he was a very good Secretary of State. Look, the guy was operating under considerable pressure, as was Downing Street and other departments, when the pandemic began. It hardly eased off as the pandemic progressed. There are still tough decisions to be made about Freedom Day, which may or may not be, I think it is going to be, on July the 19th, and exactly how free we are. You know, at the end of the day, we should never, ever forget that ministers in governments all over the world, and in this country too, are human beings. And the pressure he'd been under for over a year must have been phenomenal and almost unbearable.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.